What it is, YouTube? Your boy Bob Scover back at it again. So look, man, I've got to bring up an issue that is going to happen. I got bad, I mean, severely bad news, man. I need to get out of this. You know, let me get out of this bad boy first. But I got some severely bad news. This is not coming out of a place of nowhere. This isn't something. This is what I got to say. You first and foremost, take it with a grain of salt. There's no evidence. There's no proof that. Well, where I can say it, there's evidence, but not evidence in the way that you think there's evidence in that we heard Bethesda say this. We have that type of proof. Bethesda outright come out and say this. No, there's no proof of that. So take it with a grain of salt. However, this is not coming from a place of absolute nowhere where I'm just pulling this out of whatever orifice that you can want to fill in the blanks with. Look at my thing. And also I'm playing this on this is my fully modded, I don't know how many hours, crazy amount of hours gameplay video. Or not gameplay, but load. Oh wow, you're dead. Okay, but wow, many nukes just lined up. What? All right. Wow, it's a lot of damage happening here. But I am a person that likes to think things out. I like to ask myself what is, what will be, what if, you know, to have an idea of where things will stand, where things will go. And I was thinking about how far Bethesda have fallen, because I'm sure everybody can agree that Bethesda have fallen quite far. And this actually came up even more so because I was watching Young Yed talk about the, you know, the BS reason for the microtransaction that Bethesda gave in regards to Fallout 76. I'm gonna probably do some gameplay of that soon enough. But it made me realize that none of us need to be excited for Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6. And there's all of this led, well, there's a couple of steps that got me to this fact. Let's start with one, things that you can expect. And I think their Starfield game is gonna give an idea of whether I'm going in the right direction or whether I'm absolutely correct. First and foremost, coming from point number one, the next game is going to be Fallout 5, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a dumber game. Now, I don't mean dumber as it's going to be an absolutely stupid game. I mean dumber as it's going to be dumbed down. More accessible. Yeah, I'm at a crazy high level too, sorry for that. But it's going to be more accessible to more people. So for those of you that had your Fallout 3, New Vegas, Morrowind, Oblivion, and you had a problem with Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls Skyrim, I have bad news. It's not going to get any better. It's actually going to get worse. Not by a little bit either. It's going to get worse by a lot. They're going to make a game that's more accessible where more people can access it. Which, in addition, there is going to be an online component. I don't mean an online multiplayer component, no. I mean, I think there's going to be something somewhat akin to DRM, to a degree. What's that? Again, I say akin to DRM. I don't think it's going to be exactly DRM, but I think it's going to be something. Well, let me get to my other points. You don't understand where I'm going with this, why I mentioned that. Now, some of y'all is already here, you already see where I'm going with this. And when y'all think about how Bethesda has approached a lot of things, I think y'all kind of agree with why I say what I'm saying. I also don't think for the next game they're going to allow mods, free mods, such as with the Nexus. I don't think there's going to be any mods there. They're pretty much going to deny all mods, and they're going to make you go for my next step, microtransactions, straight up. They are going to go for microtransactions. I mean, that one you don't have to see where I've gotten that from. You already have the Creation Club and these garbage mods. Wow, she dead? Oh, I didn't know she was dead. Okay, good to know. All right, but yeah, these garbage creation club mods that we are having that they're looking people to pay for. What's the reason for people to pay for mods if you can get stuff just as good? Nope, take that back. Better than what's on the creation club. There's no reason to pay for mods. Let's look at creation club. What mods are there that are useful enough that make you want to pay for them? When all you have to do is just go to the Nexus, install Vortex. Well, it was Mod Manager at the time, but now Vortex, and go ahead and get a really good mod for free. There are even mods that have put in former content from previous games that have gone missing, or changed the gameplay and some of the rules, the mechanics for previous games that we loved, that we knew and loved, or improved upon mechanics where they were already faulty. But I do also think, till I get to my final point, before I get to my final point, that they're going to have a better story and better graphics to keep you coming back more and more and more. To have a reason for you to buy a game that you don't want to buy. I say all that to say, the next games are not going to be nearly as good as they have been, because microtransaction is going to be the basis of everything that they do going forward. When you think about, let's look at Fallout Shelter. When Bethesda came out with Fallout Shelter, no doubt somebody was like, we can probably make some money. I'm sure they were thinking, well, maybe over a 5-year period, we make $1 million. And in their minds are like, okay, well, if we're gonna do this, we need to make sure we put out an app or a mobile game that is of a decent quality that people will want to play, and we'll just add some microtransactions here and there. It won't be important, but they'll be there. It won't be absolutely, it won't be so important that the game will have to run with them. No, I don't think that's what it was. I think it was literally, we're putting this together, and this is going to be a fun experience first, and then we'll follow it up with microtransactions. Fast forward to Elder Scrolls Blades. Haven't touched it. I don't need to touch it to see that it's a microtransactions garbage fest. It is not fun to play. It is not exciting. It is extremely dumbed down and vastly accessible for even your casual gamer. It'd be accessible to somebody's grandparents. And so because of that, they have microtransaction the crap out of it. It is microtransaction everywhere. Ooh, it's gonna be loud. I forgot I set this massive fort up, so I can't go here. But they've layered it. Layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of microtransactions. So, excuse me, all of that should prove and show why the next Elder Scrolls game and Fallout game is going to be ungodly filled with microtransactions. There are going to be so many microtransactions that it's going to be sickening. There are going to be so many limits that it's going to be deafening. The Bethesda that we knew is gone. I'm not going to say I'm a Bethesda boy from way back in the day, because the game I actually came in on was Oblivion. Oblivion, wow. I never really played an RPG until Oblivion. Oblivion absolutely floored me. Now I heard about what's the other game? Morrowind. Never gotten the Morrowind. I actually have it because it was the free download through the Bethesda store launcher. Haven't really got a chance to dig into it, but I'm slowly but surely getting curious. It's kind of hard when the graphics are so, what's the word I want to use? When the graphics are so disturbing that it kind of dulls your senses, especially coming from Oblivion and then from Skyrim and then trying to go back. But wow, awesome work there, Bethesda. So we're looking the end of an era. A lot of people like to say, we're looking at the end of the era. No, we're not looking at the end of the era. The end of the era has already happened. We're at the onset of the apocalypse. We're after the fact. Bombs have dropped. Survivors are all that's left. The radiation has hit. We're screwed. Bethesda, as we know it, is gone. Don't get your hopes up for this next Elder Scrolls. Do not get yourselves worked up in this. I'm real curious to see how correct I am. But everybody can see the evidence, the writing is on the wall. Fallout 76 has no reason or right to be called a Fallout game. Elder Scrolls Blades has no right or reason to be called an Elder Scrolls game. But this is what we have now. And microtransactions, Fallout 76 is almost, you can see where it was built from top to bottom to support microtransactions. It was a game made for microtransactions, online component forced to allow you to do microtransactions. You wanted more stuff? Well, it's an online game, so you can't download mods, so you have to get on those microtransactions to get some good stuff. This is where we sit. It's a shame. It's a crying out shame. And I would like to say there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something we can do about it. Just like with EA and a lot of these other big publishers. Stop buying into the AAA garbage. Ignore it. Move away from it. And maybe start going towards some more of these indie developers. However, y'all have to understand before you click off the video. Once you do that, publishers like EA, they're going to be sitting on deaf ears initially because that's what EA does. Bethesda and ZeniMax might do the same initially. They might get it a little bit faster, but EA and Activision, they're going to sit on deaf ears. And they're going to say, okay, indie publisher, no problem. We will publish your game, developer. But you also got to put in a bunch of microtransactions because we need to make that moolah. And so then when those indie games fail, then what they're going to say is, oh, that's because they were indie games. We need to go back to FIFA and Madden because that's the only reason they did so well because blah, blah, blah. But then when they still aren't making money, eventually the money starts falling hand over foot. And they're just losing money out the every orifice possible. Then maybe they'll get the idea. Because look, I will say, don't hate me on this. Let me finish my statement before I finish it. Before you start getting angry at me and click off the video. I'm not 100% against microtransactions. I'm against microtransactions when they're done in a scummy way. I'm for microtransactions when it's just like, hey, we kind of want to make a little bit of money. So here's a little something that doesn't make the game better, doesn't make the game easier. It's just something a little real silly and really stupid. We're trying to do we're looking to do something else. We're trying to line our pockets as much as possible. We're trying to do something a little bit more. We're trying to go a different route. We want to do something big for the next game, blah, blah, blah. We want to pay our staff more money. And so in order for us to pay our staff more money, can you support us a little bit for a little bit of extra? Okay, I kind of see that. Otherwise, nah, I don't. It's gonna be a waste of time. Otherwise, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The industry needs another video game crash back like in the 80s, the 70s, 80s. Until that happens, nothing's gonna change. And as you see, developers and publishers are not turning away from the evil, scummy practices. They are turning towards the dark side. People that we never thought would have done these things are doing these things. This is what the future holds for us. That's just my rant. Tell me what you think. Somebody, just give me your thoughts because if I would love to be wrong. I would 100% love to be wrong. But I'm scared that I'm not going to be wrong. I'm scared that I'm 100% right. I'm scared that I'm 200% right, and they're going to go even further down the path than what I've mentioned. But this has been your boy Bob Scover. Like, share, subscribe, and give me your thoughts.